Okay. Good evening, everyone. I can see there are people still joining in. If you can hear me, see me, please put in a vote of confidence. Just good evening. Yes, good evening, Sanvi. Before we get into what we're going to be discussing today, I would like a quick update on where you all are on the project. So 7 or 5 tak, we'll discuss a little about the project while more people join in. Can you all tell me क्या क्या चल रहा है प्रोजेक्ट में मतलब कहाँ तक पहुंचे हो आप लोग? Ideally, by now, we should have at least completed the review of literature and formed the questions. Ananya, हाँ ठीक है. So we had to select a topic, do a, will this be the only project we'll be doing? Sanvi, there is the next step. This will be a continuous project. It will continue until next week and next to next week as well. So this is the only project you'll be doing for psychology internship at least. Um, we needed to pick a topic. We needed to do a review of literature of 5 research articles, and then had to frame some qualitative questions. Did you all frame the qualitative questions? Did you have any difficulty in framing the questions? Anything you want me to address right now? Not really. Okay, Jia. Thank you so much. ठीक है. So, what did we do in the last session? What was covered in the last session? Do you all remember? Disorders. Okay, teenage brain, teenage psychology, neurocognition, ADHD, ASD, yes. So we talked about the teenage brain, we talked about stress bucket and skills and body image concerns and neurodiversity. We talked about all these things, right? So, yes, and the shield, very good. Today we are going to be talking entirely on mental health and talking more about how do we understand mental health and the stigma associated with it, right? So, can you please Parasha, anything to do with recordings and okay, in general, everyone, anything to do with recordings, PDFs, etc. The RiarPro team will, get back to you on that. Okay? Okay. So, if you're asking a question about that and I don't address it, please know that the RiarPro team will take care of it. Okay? Okay, Parasha. Okay. All right. So, we're going to be starting with mental health today, and I want to first understand what is your understanding of mental health. Okay. So, yes, when you hear the term mental health, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? When you hear the term mental health, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? State of mind, emotions, internal well being. Sad. Okay. See, we are 38 people, okay, 36 students in the session, right? So I really want at least 20 responses. Okay, so I know you all are interested, you all are engaged. Track of emotions, how healthy we are, if we're happy in life, our inner feelings, state of well-being of mind, state of mind. Right. So we all have a lot of different definitions of mental health. Correct. So in today's session, we'll be understanding mental health from a holistic perspective. We'll understand some mental health stigma and ways to reduce it. The major theories explaining mental health disorder and behavior, not the three major theory. We're talking about one major theory, the biopsychosocial model, made an error over here. But okay, distinguish between the myths from facts regarding mental health and identify healthy coping strategies. Okay? Now, we talked about what comes to your mind when you hear the word mental health, right? Now, we'll talk about how do we actually define mental health. Before that, let's quickly watch this video. Let me just again screen share so that you can hear the audio as well. Okay? Share sound, share. Can you all hear the audio?
You can't tell how someone feels just by looking at them or what they share online. To the outside world, our lives may look perfect, even if in reality they aren't. I'm always worrying about doing well at school, and with the end of year test coming up, I'm not sure how much longer I can cope. My thoughts swarm around my head, sometimes keeping me up all night. Some days it's just all too much, and I feel like I'm lost in space. When I did badly on one of my tests, I just about kept it together until I got home. Then I broke down crying in front of my mum. She listened for a bit, and then she told me that, just like physical health, we all have mental health. It's our feelings, our thinking, our emotions, and our moods. She then said that feeling down, angry, and stressed is a normal part of life, just like it's normal to feel happy, confident, and carefree sometimes. We all have positive and negative emotions that come and go based on what's happening around us. These are everyday feelings. Good mental health means experiencing negative emotions. It's not always about being happy. Mum can relate to the feelings of stress. So when Mum suggested I take a break from everything and do something I enjoy, I actually took her advice. So I made myself a hot chocolate, snuggled up in a duvet and watched a film. And you know what? Afterwards I felt so much better. Mum should take her own advice.
Most of us only ever share the good things. We don't like to share how we really feel. Every morning when I wake up, negative thoughts stream through my head. Getting out of bed and pretending I'm okay takes all the energy I have. As the day goes on, the negative thoughts turn from a stream into a river. The water rushes through my head so loudly it's hard to concentrate in lessons. And some days it's so bad it feels like a waterfall that's trying to pull me over the edge. Everything is so overwhelming. I didn't think my friends would understand if I told them how down I was feeling. But when Sasha opened up to me about how stressed she was feeling, I told her. I wasn't sure how to bring up how I'd been feeling, so I started by saying that I didn't feel like myself. Just her listening made me feel like she understood. She told me some things that had helped her, so I tried them too, but it didn't make much of a difference. Even when I tried to be around my friends, I felt alone. The things I used to enjoy weren't fun anymore.
I was really worried about Andre and not sure what to do. He was quiet and wasn't hanging out with us like he used to. So I asked our head of year for some advice. He suggested I get Andre to speak to him since his negative feelings weren't going away.
I didn't want to speak to our head of year, but I also didn't want to keep feeling so down, so I went. He said that sometimes we have overwhelming feelings that can be more intense than our everyday feelings. These feelings hang around for a long time and change the way we feel, think, and behave. They can stop us doing what we want to in life. That's what I was going through. He also said that if we're physically unwell, we let people know, we ask for help. It should be no different with mental health. Sometimes our overwhelming feelings are brought on because of things in our life. Sometimes they happen for no reason at all. After hearing this, I felt much less alone and it felt good to talk. Scientists have found exercise can help when you're feeling low, so our head of year encouraged me to sign up to the school football club, which Sasha was already in. I still have days when the river is there, but now I'm beginning to understand my mental health. I'm learning how to cope. Our head of year reminded me that my friends, family, teachers, and lots of others at school are there to help just as much as he is. I had no idea the people around me could be so understanding. And while it's not always easy to talk about my mental health, the person I'm talking to might be able to help. If you don't feel like talking, that's fine. You could try writing, sports, reading, art, music, playing with your pet, whatever makes you feel better.
If you're the person someone talks to when they're struggling, just listen with no pressure or judgment. You don't have to have the answer. If you feel unsure about anything, you can speak to a trusted adult. Talking about mental health doesn't have to be difficult. After all, it's something we all have.
All right. Okay. What was your experience watching the video? What did you feel? What did you understand? How would you define mental health after watching the video? I'll give you a couple of seconds to chat, to like put it in the chat box. Okay? What I'm asking is, what do you feel after watching the video? What is your understanding of um, mental health post watching the video? and what are some things you learned after watching the video. That's okay, Mannat. If you missed any part, I'll just, I'll send the link, send the PDF later on, so you can address it then as well. Mental health needs to be talked about. We shouldn't keep ignoring our feelings. We feel that mental health is as important as physical health, and all these things in theory seem really good, right? But in reality, the stigma surrounding mental health makes it very difficult to talk about what's been going on, right? Because whenever we try and approach someone and tell them about things that we are experiencing on a mental domain, the immediate response is, "Why are you so sad? Are you sad? Do you feel depressed? Just stop being depressed." It's not how it works, right? Mental health can be ruined because of the thoughts you get. So you should talk to people. Yes, very good, Jia. So the understanding of mental health in theory may be very simple and very like clear, but in practice, it's a very different thing. So today we won't be talking just about the theory of mental health. We'll also be understanding how we can work on our own mental health. Okay. All right. Now we've talked about these things and we've discussed a couple of different viewpoints that you hold about mental health, right? So, according to the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well being in which individuals realize their abilities, cope with normal life stresses, work productively, and contribute to their community. If you look at this definition of mental health, it is not just situated around the person. It is not saying that mental health is just अगर आप ठीक हो तो आपका mental health अच्छा है. It also talks about the fact that अगर आप ठीक हो and अगर आप contribute कर पा रहे हो society में, that means that you have a mental health which is more um, healthier and more balanced, right? So when we say that a person has good mental health, we mean that they are able to understand their strengths, their limitations. They are able to cope with normal events in life which cause stress, like exams, like conflicts. These are all events which will continue causing us some impact, right? Like in life, we will always have experiences which are out of our control, and these events will cause us some impact. They'll cause us some negativity. But our ability to work productively through these events and to gain meaning from these events and resolve these events without feeling extremely overwhelmed is when we would say a person has a good mental health, right? So that is mental health. Now, there are four key characteristics of mental health: there's life satisfaction, resilience, support, and flexibility. Now, life satisfaction, though, as we know the definition, right? Basically, it refers to how satisfied you are with where your life is right now. Where your life is right now, when we say that, we mean not just with reference to how big your house is, but also how well your health is, your physical health, your mental health, your social health, your spiritual health, how happy you are with the kind of life you're living right now. That is life satisfaction. Okay. What is resilience? Who can tell me what resilience is? Ability to withstand, determination, right? So essentially, resilience refers to the ability of um, okay. Resilience refers to the fact that in life we will constantly sometimes have difficulties which we may not be able to overcome. But are we able to bounce back? Right? Resilience is not resisting negative emotions. It is not fighting without expectations. It is just being able to bounce back from failure or bounce back from challenges. We will always have an exam which may be very difficult for us. We will always have events where we wanted to perform much more better, but we were unable to. Are we able to learn from these events and move ahead in life? That is what is resilience. Okay. Support, as we all understand, the most simple definition of support being the fact that if you want to get through life's difficulties, you can't do it alone. Even if you think you're able to do it alone, at some point you will require social support. You will require help. You will require care. You will require genuineness and unconditional positive regard. You will require these things to be able to work with your health better, right? Okay. And then there is flexibility. What's flexibility with reference to mental health? Adaptability. Yes, very good, Madhav. Right? So, flexibility here refers to the fact that Sometimes when we have a particular plan and things don't go that way, are we able to adapt to the things which are actually happening? If I wanted to catch a bus to go home at 5 p.m., but the 5 p.m. bus was delayed and I have a 6 p.m. class, am I able to figure out an alternative? Am I able to go and manage somehow to reach home by 5:30 so I can attend my 6 o'clock class? Right? How what is our ability and what is our capability rather of adjusting with things which we were not prepared for, but which happened? If we have a very rigid mindset कि मुझे ऐसी चीजें करनी है, मुझे ऐसे ही करनी है, so when those things won't happen the way we want them to happen, we'll be very hard on ourselves, right? Which is why flexibility comes in. It's very important to be flexible with your emotions, your expectations, and the challenges you set for yourself as well. Because if you keep them too rigid, you will constantly come from a place of negativity, from a low self-esteem place. Yep. Okay. All right. Now, these are some very common benefits of good mental health. You have more ability to cope with your life stresses. You have a positive self-image, healthier relationships. You're more productive. Um, you have a better quality of life. Can someone tell me some more examples, some more benefits of good mental health? Having good mental health is important. Why is it important? What does it provide you with? Happiness. Okay, that's nice. Okay. Peace of mind, definitely. I think someone had talked about, does having good mental health lead to any impact on the physical health as well? It does. If we are able to have healthier mental health, we are able to also have healthier physical health. If we are more positive, or if we are able to deal with challenges better, we are able to also invest in our physical health, and vice versa too. Very true, Mother. Healthy mind results in healthy body. Very good, Ananya. And healthy body results in healthy mind. We exercise, we eat healthy, we drink water, we sleep on time, we wake up on time, we have good sleep hygiene. These are factors which help us have increased dopamine levels, increased serotonin levels, and in general have more emotional regulation abilities. Because of that, we are able to also emotionally regulate our minds and learn from challenges instead of feeling like they are the end of our lives. Right? Like sometimes we'll always sometimes we'll face challenges which are very difficult and we feel extremely hopeless. And in these moments also are very common because they happen to all of us. But these moments make trying to bounce back, trying to say, ki, okay, this happened. I want to learn from it. I want to grow. I want to move ahead. Right? That is another benefit of having good mental health, that your capability, your resilience, your determination to live a healthier, happier life increases. Any other benefits you can think of good mental health? What about with reference to your behaviors and your performance in class? Do you think having a good mental health impacts the way you're active and your behavior in class? We become kind. Yes, very true, Mother. Confidence, positive thoughts. It also has to do with attention and performance increases. Very good, Ananya. It has a lot more to do also with decision making, creativity, right? If you are able to take care of your mental health, you are also able to think from divergent solutions. You're able to think from different points of views. You are more concentrated. You're able to perform well in class because you're actively present and actively engaging in the class, right? So these are all benefits of good mental health. Yeah. Okay. Now, stigma surrounding mental health, we'll be engaging in this exercise a little bit more on chat. Okay, but basically there are lots of negative attitudes, beliefs, or discriminations towards people who have mental health challenges. A lot of the times people associate mental health with, like, associate a therapist or therapy rather with being mad. That's not the case. Okay. Terminology like mad, abnormal, crazy, these are all words which were once used earlier to help to like discriminate or to draw a distinction between people who are experiencing mental health concerns and people who are not experiencing mental health concerns. But today we need to challenge these situations. We need to challenge this stigma, right? Because mental health is just like physical health, and anything we experience, which is causing us some challenges in our personal life, in our physical life, we go to a doctor, right? So if we're experiencing some mental health concerns, why should we not go to a therapist? Why should we not go to a psychiatrist? है ना? Now, when it comes to negative attitude to stigma, there are three types of stigma. There is public stigma, self stigma, and structural or social stigma. ठीक है? Public stigma is all these aspects like what will people say? Okay, when if you or someone you know goes to their parent and tells them कि मुझे ना डॉक्टर के पास जाना है, मेंटल हेल्थ डॉक्टर के पास जाना है, मेरी तबीयत थोड़ी खराब है. It's quite possible that one of your parents might, or your sisters or your brothers may say that, hey, um, क्या अगर किसी को पता चला कि तू वहां पे जा रहा है तो लोग क्या कहेंगे? क्या कहेंगे लोग? लोग तो कुछ ना कुछ तो कहेंगे ही ना, मतलब people will always talk about you no matter what you do. Does that mean you prohibit yourself from accessing services which are important for your help? नहीं ना. Okay, there is self stigma, which is internalized stigma, right? Like, for example, a lot of people, what happens is they may um, continue dealing with problems on their own because they don't want to get on medication, for example, right? Like a lot of people who have generalized anxiety disorder or any sort of anxiety which is very overwhelming and requires medication, these people sometimes what they'll do is they'll try and avoid the medicine, and they'll convince themselves कि अच्छा ठीक है, मैं उतना उतनी लेवल तक नहीं गया हूँ कि मुझे मेडिसिन की जरूरत है, तो आई एम ओके, right? This is something which is internalized because society has often told us कि आप जो कर रहे हो वो गलत है. अगर आपको मेंटल हेल्थ का कंसर्न्स हो रहा है तो आप खुद डील करो, right? And then there is structural or social stigma. Structural social stigma here is more to do with the fact that society and the structures in society, like our offices, like our schools, like our colleges, they don't recognize mental health to be an actual concern. They often see that mental health is as like an excuse, कि अच्छा बच्चे को पढ़ाई नहीं करनी है तो वो बोल रहा है उसको डिप्रेशन है. ऐसा it's we can't generalize that, no. A lot of children do experience a lot of mental health concerns. A lot of people working in corporate setups, etc., do experience mental health concerns. A lot of therapists, a lot of psychiatrists, a lot of people in the mental health field itself experience mental health concerns, right? तो ऐसा नहीं है कि सब लोग झूठ बोल के काम कम करना चाहते हैं ना. If so many people are experiencing a same concern, it must mean that it's actually a concern, right? Okay. Here are three very common, you know, negative attitudes pertaining to mental health here, right? Now, the first one is depression is just sadness. Is depression just sadness? What is depression? Chalo, tell me. What else comes under depression? Depression is not just sadness because depression is also a lack of interest. It's a lack of motivation. It's a lack of hope. Yes, Rehat, sorry. It's also a lack of joy or a lack of, like activities which once used to make you feel extremely excited and happy don't make you excited and happy anymore, right? So those are also things which come under depression. Depression is not just sadness. Sadness is periodic. Very good, Morvi. Depression is chronic. It is a little long term. It's episodic as well, right? Okay. People with mental illness are unpredictable. Are people with mental illness unpredictable? Are people with mental illness unpredictable? Sometimes, yes. Let's be honest. Sometimes, if a person is experiencing some sort of extreme psychological disorder or psychiatric condition, they may be unpredictable. We may not know what they may engage in, what behavior they may engage in, if they could cause harm to someone or to others or to themselves. But ऐसा नहीं है ना कि सब लोग जो जिनके पास mental illness problem है उनका पता ही नहीं क्या करेगा कभी भी. It's not like that, right? We can't generalize one particular situation to the whole world or the whole population, right? There will be people who are unpredictable because maybe the conditions they are having are unpredictable. Like, for example, bipolar disorder. PTSD even, schizophrenia. Yes, very good, Morbi. These are all mental health concerns and illnesses which don't always have a predictable pattern of behavior or pattern of communication or a pattern of noticeable symptomology. Sometimes people have hallucinations in a very unpredictable setup. Sometimes people have reliving of their trauma in a very sudden manner. Sometimes people get re-traumatized from the past experiences very suddenly, right? This is all true. They might be unpredictable, but ऐसा नहीं है कि everyone who has a mental health concern is unpredictable. It just means that there is a part of the population. Yes, Trisha, poor mental health can lead to less productivity or laziness. It just means that there is a part of the population which is experiencing these symptoms, which are unpredictable. But that doesn't mean the whole cohort is unpredictable, right? Okay, now the third one. Therapy is only for serious problems. As a therapist, I've heard this so many times from my clients itself. Right? I'll have clients who will come in and tell me कि you know what, I feel really guilty of being over here because मेरा जो concern है वो मैं खुद संभाल सकती हूँ. ठीक है, आप संभाल सकते हो अच्छी से. कोई कोई बात नहीं. Just right now you just need some extra help and that's okay, no? We are forced so much to believe that we have to do every single thing by ourselves. If you're experiencing some problem, you do it, sort it out by yourself. Don't ask for help. Asking for help is seen as weakness. It's seen as a taboo. But it is not. As human beings, we have limitations. We have a capability to a particular extent. Sometimes we require external help. If we are not able to access the resources that we have, then what is the use of those resources? Right? I have a lot of people coming into therapy just to deal with concentration concerns or to deal with attention problems or to deal with the fact even stuff as which may seem trivial. Like I have clients who will come in and tell me ki, Sarah, I can't wake up in the morning despite how many alarms I keep. I'll have clients who come in and tell me ki, Sarah, regardless of how tired I get by the end of the day, I still want to go on my phone and scroll. I'll have my clients who will come up and tell me things like, I don't know why, but I can't talk to this one person regardless of being best friends with them. मुझसे हो ही नहीं रहा है. There is no s- criteria for being in therapy. Sometimes you may just want to vent. Sometimes you may just want to talk. Sometimes you may just want to listen or be listened to rather. Correct. So ऐसा नहीं है कि जो भी therapy में है उनको उनको उनके पास कुछ trauma हो. It could also just be that they want to talk to someone. They want to learn more about themselves. Right? So therapy is a space for concerns to be addressed, but it's also a space for you to learn more about yourself. Right? Okay. Now, when we talk about therapy and mental health, we're trying to use a model which is called the biopsychosocial model. So what happened earlier is when therapy and mental health was just being understood, they applied a very biological lens to it, medical lens to it. Ki the reason you experience mental health concerns is because of your genetics, because of hereditary issues, because of the fact that there's something wrong in your DNA. Nature approach, right? After that, people started realizing that ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. It's nature and nurture. So it's your nature, which is how what you inherit from your parents, but it's also how you've been born and brought up around in your surrounding. But it is also a third layer, which is social. We are influenced by our culture. We are influenced by tradition. We are influenced by religion, right? So if you want to understand mental health, it is you can't take a single pronged approach. You need to look at it from the three prongs: biological, psychological, social. Therefore, biopsychosocial, given by Engel in 1977. Mental health refers to how we feel, think, and behave, and this is shaped by our body, which is biological, our mind, psychological, and the world around us, social. ठीक है? Let's do a quick bit of a case study over here. ठीक है? रुक जाओ. I'm telling you a bit of I'll give you a case and you tell me ki, 1 second, no? I'll tell you a bit of a case. You tell me what are the biological factors, the psychological factors, and the social factors. Okay, there is a person named C. The person is 19 years old. Acha, chal, the person is 12 years old. And C is experiencing concerns with anxiety and trouble at home. This is causing sleep issues and low self esteem. Also, she comes from a orthodox family. So, seeking help is seen as wrong. Okay? So, the client is 12 years old. They are experiencing anxiety and they have trouble at home. I've sent it in the chat box as well, Parisha. You can look at it. Client is 12 years old. They're experiencing anxiety, trouble at home, sleep issues, low self esteem. And they are coming from a very orthodox family. So, it's difficult for them to ask for help. ठीक है ये सेटअप में what are the biological concerns biological factors कौन से है इसमें the client is 12 years old what happens when you are 12 years old teenage very good Prithvi adolescence excellent Aradhya so if the client is 12 years old they are experiencing a lot of yes Samaira excellent emotions puberty adolescence they are experiencing that change in hormones etc na they were not able to deal with their emotions and their feelings in a very proper manner because so many things are going on in their body. The biological would be their age. It could be genetics. It could be predisposition as well. Ki what are they more? Do they have a vulnerability because of the genetics? Do they have a lot of people in their family who have experiences with anxiety, because of which it could get passed down to them? That is all biological. What about psychological? What are the psychological factors here? Negative thoughts. Listen to the what I've written, right? Past experiences. गाइस मैंने लिखा है यहाँ पे आप ध्यान से देखो शी इज एक्सपीरियंसिंग एंजाइटी एंड शी इज ऑल्सो सेइंग दैट देयर इज ट्रबल एट होम घर पे कुछ चीजें चल रही है जो प्रॉब्लमेटिक हो रही है ना so the trouble at home part the issues at home these are causing a lot of daily fights yes family issues parental pressure this is what is causing a lot of the self esteem concerns she's experiencing right so psychological factors would be lack of social support it could be um, a lack of understanding of the resources that she already has a lot of like when parents fight sometimes they say a lot of things which are very hurtful right when anyone fights they say things which are very hurtful तो वो भी factor होता है these all things cause pain right so those are psychological factors what about social factors all I've said about her social factors is कि she comes from a um, orthodox family setup so seeking help is difficult. Correct? Yes. Orthodox family, yes, upbringing. Excellent, Madhav. She also must be coming from an entire setup of, um, she's also not able to come, seek help because of the entire aspect of um, deal with things on your own, don't ask for help. So when people are experiencing this sort of an upbringing, where they are forced to be independent and not ask for help and always resolve things on their own, the culture is impacting them, right? So let's say that so basically what I'm trying to say is your religion your faith your cultural status socio-economic status all these things also impact the way that your experiences with with mental health are taking place right like for example let's take another example building onto this let's say that has a and b are sharing the same situation they are experiencing anxiety A comes from a lower socio-economic status का family, B comes from a higher socio-economic status का family. ठीक है? The possibility of B being able to access mental health care is more. correct? Because they have money, they are able to have access to resources, they are a bit more educated. But if these parents still think कि ये मेंटल हेल्थ सब कुछ शैम होता है, कुछ नहीं होता है, तो फायदा क्या हुआ वो पैसों का? फायदा क्या हुआ वो एक्सेस टू रिसोर्सेज का? फायदा क्या हुआ एजुकेशन का? आप तो फिर भी वही लूप में स्टक हो ना, राइट? सो it's never just a an individual factor which is acting. It's always multiple factors which are acting together, right? Okay. uh ठीक है, let me share my screen again. So that was the biopsychosocial model. Okay, now we're going to do this exercise, and I'll just send this document on the chat box also. It is, हाँ, ठीक है. Now if you open this, no, मतलब basically क्या है इसमें कि there are um, this is called a wellness wheel. Okay, I would like you all to do an activity wherein you rate yourself on each of these factors. ठीक है, 1 to 10. 10 is the best, 1 is the lowest score. I would like you to take, maybe it's 7:38, so you all can take till 7:30, 7:42, 43. Okay, and I want you to rate where you are in each of these levels. According to you, what is your physical health like? According to you, what is your mental health like? What are your relationships like? What's your career satisfaction like? Career here could be education, right? मैंने डॉक्यूमेंट भेजा है. कैन यू ऑल सी द डॉक्यूमेंट एवरीवन? I've sent it again, right? But basically it is this one big wheel. It's okay, Kanak, I have shared it on the screen as well, right? So it is one wheel. It's on the screen as well, people. It's a wheel, and it has 8 sections. One is for physical health, one is for mental health, one's for relationships, for recreation, finances, career, spirituality, and home. What I need you to do is rate yourself and the life that you're currently living on each of these factors from a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the least, 10 being the most. Okay? Clear instructions, simple exercise hai. I just want you to have an understanding of where you are right now and how we can improve. So, Prithvi, again, please don't, you don't have to put it in the chat box. These are scores for yourself. Please keep these scores to yourself. We'll discuss about it. Take a minute or two, rate yourself on 8 of these factors, and then let me know when most of you are done. We'll discuss a bit about this. Okay? Okay. How many are done? Can I get some responses? How many people are done rating themselves on 8 of these factors? Madhav, okay. Anyone else? Parisha, Visha, Tika. Okay, excellent. Very good, guys. Excellent. Now, if I was to ask you, key in your physical health, if your score is less than 6 and you want to improve your physical health, what is one thing you can do? If your score in physical health is less than 6 and you want to improve your score in physical health, what is one thing you can do? Discipline, exercise, nature, eat better, changes in diet, excellent. If your score in mental health is less than 6, what is one thing you can do? Meditation, very good. Spend time in peace. Coping mechanisms, excellent. Relationships में अगर आपका score less than 6 है, तो आप क्या कर सकते हो? Interact more, very good. Spend more time with friends, family, talk to others, love them, okay? Talk with people, work on your communication, conversation skills, very good, Lavansh. Right. What about recreation? Recreation में अगर आपके scores 6 से कम है. Recreation is hobbies, fun, self-care. If your scores are less than 6 here, how do you improve them? One thing you can do to improve them. Find a hobby that makes you happy. Very good. Very good, Marvi. What else? Give an hour to hobbies. Excellent, Aradhya. Take up new hobbies. Fantastic. Find what you love. Focus on yourself. Try to engage with new things. Amazing. Very good, guys. What about finances? If your finances, and by finances, I mean, I know you're a students and also you may not be having like earnings, but if you're saving some money, etc., and you feel like finances maybe six se come hai, how can you improve those scores? What can you do to ensure that you have more confidence in your finances? You have more balance in your finances. Yes, save more, spend mindfully, study more about financial literacy. Very good. Excellent. Fantastic. Set up a fixed budget. Very nice. Very smart kids. Multiple streams of income. Amazing. Good. Think before spending. Correct. What about career? Career here we'll also talk about education, right? So let's say कि career and education में आपके scores 6 से कम है. Get career counseling. Very nice, Ananya. What else? Work more hard. Okay. Develop skills for future careers. Ask questions. Fantastic. Career counseling. Okay. Clear your doubts, 3 hours, take help from others. Amazing. What about spirituality? Spirituality here, we don't mean only the religion wala part, okay? We also mean personal growth, connecting to something superior than you, having some sort of a, you know, um, principle or values to lay back on, right? Okay, meditation. What else? If your score is less than 6, what can you do to improve your score? Start journaling. Very nice. Be selfful. Okay. Gratitude, excellent. Mindfulness, amazing. Fantastic. Self-awareness. What about the last one? If your home section may your score is less than 6, how can you improve that score? Talk it out with your parents. What else? Spend time with your family, hang out with your family. Excellent. Fantastic, guys, right? So this exercise is a way for you to remember that there are always ways to improve things which are in your control. Please remember this. There are things in your control and there are things outside your control. Things outside your control, you can't do anything about them. And that is life. You need to make and understand and find peace with the fact कि मेरे लाइफ में जो मेरे कंट्रोल में है मैं उसी को चेंज कर सकती हूँ. मेरे लाइफ में मेरे हाथ के बाहर जो है वो मैं नहीं कर सकती कुछ उसका. I can't control the weather. I can't control how someone else reacts or responds to other situations in their life. I can't control my parents' parenting style. I can't control my siblings' communication style. I can try to tell them this is how I am feeling. Can we work on it? Uske beyond, I can't do anything else. What I can control are my habits, my behaviors, my feelings, my emotions, my responses, my relationships. Right? When we understand, realize, and accept that there are some things we can control and we work on those things and we leave the rest out of it, then we are able to live a life which is more peaceful for us because then we're not putting too much pressure on ourselves. ठीक है? So the wellness wheel exercise is for you to remember that there are things which you can control, things you can't control. There are aspects that you can work on, you can address, you can improve. बट उसके बियॉन्ड आप शायद कुछ कर नहीं पाओगे एंड दैट इज ओके. Okay, so that was the wellness wheel. How was your experience working with the wellness wheel? What did you like about it? What was it like for you? What was the wellness wheel like for you? Look better at your problems, okay. Made you aware, made you practice, learn where you have to improve, introspection, makes you self-aware. Amazing, right? So these are exercises which enhance your understanding of yourself. So you can understand कि life में मैं अभी कहाँ पे हूँ और मुझे क्या improve करना है. ठीक है? Okay. Let's quickly do a couple of myths and facts. I think I have another video over here as well. ठीक है. Myths and facts. People with mental health conditions can recover and lead productive lives. Myth or fact? Fact. Excellent. Good. I have worked with a lot of people who have come with a wide variety of concerns, and so have a lot of other therapists. I've also worked with lots of different people who have come with a wide variety of concerns. Please remember, life is, we can work on things which we can address and we can recover from them. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आपको मेंटल हेल्थ कंसर्न है तो आपकी लाइफ बेटर नहीं बन सकती. ठीक है. Seeking professional help for mental health concerns is a sign of strength. Myth or fact? Fact. Good. Seeking professional help or any sort of help is always a sign of strength because you're sharing your vulnerability with someone. You are admitting कि मेरे से और नहीं हो रहा है. I need some help. I need some understanding. Ananya, why do you think it's a myth, the second one? We're talking about the second one, okay? Seeking professional help for mental health concerns is a sign of strength. We haven't gone to the third one yet. Okay, no problem. Now, the third one. Mental health problems are a sign of personal weakness. Myth. Correct. Guys, we all have mental health concerns at some point or the other in our life. We will have problems and situations we are unable to address with अकेले. कोई बात नहीं है. We need help. That's okay. If you are having a fever, and I know a lot of people use this example very overrated way में, but it is sort of relatable, right? अगर आपको fever है तो आप ये नहीं बोलोगे ना कि मतलब I am such a weak person, how can I get fever? You'll say, okay, I have this, my immunity is a bit low. I'll work on improving it. Same goes for mental health, right? Okay. Only adults experience mental health problems. Myth, fact. Myth. Yes. Regardless of your age, regardless of your situation, your background, your whatever, we as human beings are fallible, which means we will experience moments in our lives wherein we'll have difficulties. So, ऐसा नहीं है कि just because adults are grown up and they have like, a job and all those things, only they are allowed to have mental health concerns. Everyone experiences some or the other mental health problems. And it's important to understand that everyone requires help and it's okay to ask for help, right? Okay. If someone appears happy, they cannot be struggling with their mental health. Myth, fact. Oops, sorry. Myth, right? A lot of the times, and like, keeping the whole, um, it is a very big myth, very true. People have ways of masking. People do learn to pretend to take care, to look stable so that others don't, get concerned or so that others don't tell their parents कि अच्छा ये ऐसा सब कुछ हो रहा है, right? Like for example, colleges, schools may also, one of the major concerns is when a kid will come to the school counselor and tell कि मेरे साथ ये problem हो रहा था, the teacher will often say कि अरे मेरे को तो पता ही नहीं चला. आपको कैसे पता चलेगा? बच्चा अगर स्माइल करके काम कर रहा है अच्छे से तो आपको कैसे पता चलेगा? Right? That is why we require school counselors. That is why we require college counselors. Because people need spaces where they can go and speak to people, no? Okay. Good physical health can positively influence mental health. Fact. This is something we've already covered, right? Okay. Talking about mental health makes problems worse. Myth. Please remember this, okay? मैं अगर बोलूं कि the moon is right opposite my building, ऐसा होता नहीं है. Correct? Just because I'm talking about something doesn't mean it's going to happen or it's going to happen worse. People, like like one very common thing I've heard while working with children is that their parents will have some sort of resistance. So they'll say कि अच्छा मैम आप हमारे बच्चों से इस सब के बारे में बात मत करो. उनको मतलब you're influencing them. How am I'm not influencing them to fake stuff. I am teaching them about things that they are experiencing so they can understand themselves better. Right? Talking about mental health problems doesn't make them worse because Talking about things is when people realize कि अच्छा ये भी हो सकता है, maybe this is what I am experiencing. If you don't talk about it, how will you know what you're experiencing? Right? Okay. Stress affects everyone differently. Myth, fact. Fact. Very important fact. Please remember, stress affects everyone differently. A lot of people wait till they are burnt out to actually take a break. A lot of people take a break the second they experience the first second of stress. Both of these have concerns to do with resilience, concerns to do with self care. Right? So, stress affects everyone differently. We all work with stress differently, but addressing it is important because if you don't address it, it will keep boiling inside you, and then one day you'll burst. Okay? Okay. Mental health exists on a continuum and can change over time. Fact, myth, fact. Yes. We often like when we're talking about continuum, we often give examples of depressive episodes. Madhav, don't. I'm talking about the ninth one. Mental health exists on a continuum and can change over time. This is a fact. Mental health does exist on a continuum. You will have episodes where you're sad. You will have episodes where you're extremely, extremely excited. Does not mean you have bipolar disorder. It means you are experiencing depressive episodes, you're experiencing excited episodes. We talked about criteria, right? We talked about the diagnosis, etc. Right? So it's not as simple as अच्छा ये इंसान को 3 दिनों के लिए डिप्रेशन था लास्ट वीक तो उनको डिप्रेसिव एपिसोड का डिसऑर्डर दे लेते हैं हम. It's not like that. It's not as simple as that. Please be very careful. ठीक है? Mental health does exist on a continuum. We are, as human beings, we will experience positives, negatives, and these positives and negatives will influence the way we perceive our life and our mental health as well. Okay? All right. Now the last one. People with mental illness are usually violent and dangerous. Myth, fact. Myth. It's a myth. ठीक है? See guys, I'm not saying that people who are experiencing mental health concerns are not dangerous. But I am not saying that all people who are experiencing mental illness are dangerous. If a person is experiencing, if a person is undergoing schizophrenia and वो उनको hallucination हो रहा है, that's why they end up doing something which is harmful. That does not mean a person who is experiencing depression will also do the same harmful thing. Similarly, people who are experiencing, yes, Morvi, fantastic. It is not correct to generalize symptoms, guys. ठीक है? Two people having the same disorder. Let's say that there are two people who have um, conduct disorder. Okay? They have difficulty with authority. They are not keen on following authority. They have a difficulty with rules and regulations. This does not mean that both of them will react to authority in the same manner. One of them could react in a very aggressive, physically aggressive manner. The other could just, ignore the authority. Right? Please remember, guys, in mental health, generalizations are not good. In general, generalizations are not good. But remember to always remember that myths like अच्छा people with mental illness ना वो बहुत खतरनाक होते हैं. Stuff like this is why there is stigma associated with mental health. ठीक है तो if you are unable if अगर आप खुद नहीं break कर पाते हो इस stigma को how will you help others break it, right? So that was myths and facts. Can you think of any other myths which come to mind when we discuss about these things? Parisha, ma'am, when you can't or don't want to control something, but it can be controlled. But if you can't and don't want to control something, how can it be controlled? Everyone with a mental illness is suicidal. That is a very big myth, right? Boys figure out things easily is a myth. It is a myth. Movies may it is shown, correct? Anything else? Have you all heard this whole uh only so oh हाँ ये सारे इमोशंस सिर्फ लड़कियां हैंडल करती है. Have you heard a myth like that as well? So, does anyone know June is celebrated as two important months? Which months are those? June is celebrated as Pride Month. June is also celebrated as Men's Mental Health Month. In this time, especially, but in general, throughout the year, throughout your whole life, if you are a member of the community, if you are a person who is identifying as a man, please know your feelings are important, your emotions are important, you are important. Please seek help. You do not have to experience things and go through things on your own. There is help available, and you are worthy of getting help. Okay? Please remember this. ठीक है, let's move ahead. Now we'll talk about coping and life skills education. There's problem focused coping, emotion focused coping, meaning focused coping. Problem focused coping, let's say that there is a I'm having a fight with a friend. Okay? If I'm looking at it from a problem focused point of view, I will try and understand झगड़ा किस बात पे हुआ, झगड़े की मतलब who was at fault and how can we resolve it ASAP. That is problem focused coping. Emotion focused coping would say stuff like, okay, there is this fight which happened. How am I feeling about it? How is my friend feeling about it? How do we proceed to address both our emotions and deal with this in a healthy manner? Meaning focused would be, okay, there was a fight. What does this mean for me? What does this tell me about my relationships with friends? How do I want to be treated in friendships? Right? These are the three main types of coping. Now, WHO, World Health Organization, gave this framework called Essential Life Skills, and it talks about 10 life skills. ठीक है? One second. क्या है ये? हाँ. There is self-awareness. What is self-awareness? What is self-awareness, guys? Sorry. Knowing what and who you are, knowing yourself. Why is knowing yourself important? What happens if you know yourself? Yes, it helps in understanding your feelings, your limitations, your, you know, boundaries, etc. Makes problem solving easier. You'll know what you need and you'll be able to get help, make better decisions. Excellent. What is empathy? What is empathy? Putting yourself in someone else's shoes, trying to understand the point of view of others, trying to understand the pain they are experiencing, the joy they are experiencing, being a part of their celebration or their sorrow, right? What about critical thinking? What is critical thinking? Analyzing situations, thinking of things from different points of views, trying to understand. Acha, critical thinking is thinking critically. Okay. Understanding things from different points of views, analyzing your pros and cons, being able to make decisions from a more rational point of view after giving it some thought, not making hasty decisions, right? Okay. What is creative thinking? What is creative thinking? Thinking creatively. Just what? Yes, Madhav. Like, okay, when we're talking about creative thinking, I like to give one very simple example, right? Ki if I gave you a spoon, what could you do with the spoon? If I give you a spoon, what could you do with the spoon? You can see your face, you can do makeup, you can dig a hole. If there is a fly, you can, swat the fly with it. You can eat. You can अगर back scratch करना है तो back scratch कर लो. Basically, you can do anything with that spoon, right? If you're creative enough. Use it as a lash curler. That's interesting. I have to try that. Drink water, yes. Use it to play music. Amazing. Right? So there are so many things you can do from one simple object. No? Right. What about decision making? What is decision making? Hit your best friend. No, no. Please don't do that. What is decision making? Making decisions. Why is it important to know how to make right decisions? Making rational decisions, better decisions. If you are in a situation which is very important, which is very, life or death sort of, being able to make the right decision becomes important, right? Because it helps you with a better life. It helps you, do a lot of like conflict resolution. It helps you manage your relationships better, right? Okay. Problem solving. Problem solving is solving problems. Problem solving also refers to being able to see one particular problem from different points of view so that you can understand how to resolve it in the best possible solution, right? You can come up with lots of solutions, but thinking about what is the most feasible one would be the best solution. That's problem solving. Yeah. Communication skills, interpersonal skills, these are again aspects to do with our relationships, with our social communication skills, such as social interaction. And then there is emotional regulation and stress management. How are we able to cope with our stress? How are we able to deal with emotions which are not that easy to tackle, not that easy to deal with? Right now, who gave these 10 skills? Okay? World Health Organization gave these 10 skills. Now, I want to ask you, according to you, which one of these areas do you need to work on? Do you personally think you need to work on? Which one of these areas do you personally think you need to work on? Critical thinking, creativity, critical thinking, decision making. Okay. Prithvi is saying none. ठीक है. Every stress management, decision making. Okay. Similarly, can you tell me one way that you can work on these things? So, if you want to work on self awareness, how can you enhance your self awareness? How can you enhance your self awareness? You can do journaling, you can do affirmations, you can do, sit with yourself, introspect, etc. Right? How can you enhance your empathy? Gratitude, yes, very good, Parasha. How can you enhance your empathy? By talking to more people, spending time with those who are less fortunate, understanding their point of view, learning about their struggles, right? How can you enhance your critical thinking? How can you enhance your critical thinking? When you're faced with a problem, with a difficult solution, with a difficult concern, instead of jumping to the first possible solution, give it some time. Take some time to think about the problem. Give it some thought, right? Similarly, creative thinking may be mindful of the things around you, right? Notice that every object can have a different purpose as well. Yes, Legos is also very interesting. Decision making as well. Analyze your consequences of the decisions that you could possibly make. Analyze what kind of resolutions the problem could bring. Communication skills, interpersonal skills, how can we enhance them? We can interact more with people. We can try and work on our assertiveness building skills, right? Lastly, emotional regulation, stress management. How do we regulate our emotions? How do we can do grounding? We can do breathing techniques. We can go to therapy. We can try and make a to-do list so we understand the things we need to work on, which helps with the stress, right? So these are all coping and life skills education. Okay, ठीक है. Now, this is a video for you to understand how can you help someone struggling with their mental health. Okay, so we'll just quickly watch this video as well. 1 second.
Can I
Is it audible? Okay, ठीक है.
just
I don't know what to.
I think
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. You don't know sometimes what to say, and you're basically walking on eggshells.
sometimes it can shock people. If someone says you're having a good day, they just expect you to say, yes, Sound, I'm okay. And I'll say, no, I'm not. And some people can get taken aback. Oh.
and I think there's the fear of saying the wrong thing. You know, what do I know about mental health?
I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa, body dysmorphic disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder back in 2013. And on Friday the 29th of August 2014, I tried to take my own life.
My name's Hakiran. I'm Sandeep's mum, mother, is it?
Best friend.
And best friend.
Dave first joined the Mint session when he was struggling with his mental health, and from there we kind of, in a strange way, hit it off, I think.
It's love at first sight.
I like to think of it that way.
I'm Dr. Will Murcott. I'm a mental health nurse and senior lecturer with the Open University.
For me, listening is at the top of the list. I think that's the first and most important step. If you can, active listening, repeating back some of the things that they've said to you so that they can feel and realise that they're being helped.
That first initial conversation that you had with me when my mum and dad sat me down, that's when the bubble popped for me. That's when I thought at that very moment that someone's noticing how I'm feeling. Someone is noticing and having an oversight of my pain, just asking how you are. It was so crucial and so important to me at that moment.
Ask twice, are you okay? Yeah, I'm all right. But no, are you really okay? And then it's like, well, no, actually, I'm not.
I think there is an urge to try and problem solve and do something. And there's almost need sometimes to be able to fix a problem or a person. And sometimes that's not the right thing to do in that situation.
People aren't necessarily looking for answers. People want to be heard.
One of the things I've learned as a mental health professional is that often if I try and set goals or have my own needs and wants and desires for how somebody should get better, they are usually wrong. And so from my point of view, it's working with a person at their pace and trying to understand how they want to move.
You can suggest go to see your GP, you can suggest support groups, you can suggest people taking an activity, you can go and join in that activity with them, so they're not feeling alone with that.
One size does not fit all. You've had a really great idea, didn't you? The family trusted circle.
So what we do, we go out the family environment and go to a coffee shop or just sit there, all four of us, actually doing our pos and negs. What's been your positive for the whole month? What's been your negative for the whole month?
We spend a lot of time insulting each other. We just send each other little videos or, oh yeah, I've been watching that, and just little clips. Everybody's at the click of a button now.
You're in my pocket.
Yeah.
If they're really struggling and at breaking point, emergency phone lines out there, and Samaritans as well. They need to know that there is support out there. And it's so hard to see that when
you are in a dark place.
When you're in a dark place, yeah.
One of the scary things is that kind of pressure of what do I do if? Because it can be nothing more scary than having somebody talk to you about ending their life, harming themselves in some way. Really, the person needs to know as well at what point you will find something acceptable or unacceptable, and then have to do something or involve somebody else. I would try and get that conversation done as soon as I can, to say, look, I will never breach your confidence, but if there are things that worry me, then I may have to do something about that. And again, that's absolutely okay, because the person will thank you for it afterwards.
Let people know that I'm here and we're going to do this together. So if that means, right, me and you, we're going to make an appointment at the GP, we'll go together and we'll do this together. And it's about being in the mud together.
You have to keep your own emotional batteries charged up, because when they're drained out, you can't help anybody else and you struggle to function, let alone just trying to look after yourself. The plane and the oxygen mask. Put your oxygen mask on first. Self-care is the number one priority, I think.
So I don't think you can actually fail, and that's something that I would really push to everyone who's helping someone with mental health struggles, is you haven't failed, you cannot fail, but you can do something.
Trust your instincts, be yourself.
The right thing was probably what you first felt, and that could have been sitting and listening, just nodding, or it could have been responding, tell me more about that. So not to over worry, not to overthink, but there is support out there, and there are people that will listen to you and give you advice and guidance.
And it's important to talk. Oh my God, it's so important to talk.
Very important to talk.
We had most chats with love you, man. You know, it's good to have someone like Josh in my life. It makes my life better.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me, what are some ways to help people? They looked adorable and happy when they talked about the help they got. Yes, I really like showing this video in classes because it is so important to know that there are people who want to listen to you. You know, Madhav, again, right? We can't force people. We can ask them that, I'm noticing that you're showing some signs which are worrying me, and I'm noticing that you seem a little out of it recently. I'm concerned about your well-being. Would you maybe want to consult a therapist, or would you want to, talk to someone about it? If they say that they don't want to, ठीक है, you can talk to me about it. We'll do it together. We'll talk about these things with each other. Then if you feel like it, we can take it the next step. Right? ठीक है. Now, last slide. And then we're done for the day. I would love you all to work on this activity. Okay? Personal mental wellness action plan. It is 8:15. So I'm giving you like 5 minutes. What if they are not willing to talk to you also? So sure, that's okay. Then all you can do is like check in on them, see if they're doing okay once in a couple of days. See, it's important to understand that there is an angle of autonomy in mental health work. अगर आपको हेल्प चाहिए नहीं तो आपको कोई फोर्स करके नहीं ले सकता है. You can only take the horse to the pond. You can't make the horse drink water. Correct? So we are in situations like these, we need to understand that there is so much I can do, and उससे beyond भी मैं करना चाहूंगी but मैं कर नहीं सकती, and that's okay. ठीक है? Okay. Please write down one strength you already have, one habit you want to improve, one strategy that you will practice, one person you can reach out to, and one action you will take this week. It is 8:16 p.m. Take 5 minutes. Please don't haphazardly do it. Take some time and give it some thought. ठीक है? One strength that you already have, one habit that you want to improve, one strategy that you'll practice, one person you can reach out to, and one action you'll take this week. When you're done, please put it in the chat box कि अच्छा हो गया है, and then we'll proceed to the last part, which is um, clarifying any doubts that we may have about the um, we'll discuss a little bit about the project, right? So take 2-3 minutes, get this activity done. Let me know in the chat box. Please, this is again a self introspection work, right? The reason I'm asking you all to not share it over here is so that you can keep this for yourself and you can grow on it and you can come back to it and revise whenever you feel the need to remember that you are more than just the days which are difficult. Mannat, I would rather you find other research papers because it is your own research paper, so it doesn't make sense. You can find other research papers as well. Okay, excellent. So, what did we learn today? A lot about mental health, okay? Mental health is as important, teenage. Very good about mental well-being. Great. Aspects of mental health, excellent. Okay, now I will now do this one thing. एक second रुक जाओ. Let me see if I can figure this thing out. 1 second. Mm, used to be able to just share like हाँ ठीक है. Can you see the whiteboard? Can you see the whiteboard? No? Yes. Okay, excellent. Let me now figure out. Okay, ठीक है. ये क्या है? Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about the project. ठीक है? Wow. I don't want any of these. Damn. How do you do this? Okay, ठीक है छोड़ो. Now, there are 5 steps. First step, first step of the project was, what was the first step of the project, guys? Selecting a topic, right? You all selected a topic. You all selected a topic. If you haven't selected a topic yet, please fasten up. ठीक है? Select a topic. Iska, I don't know how to use this, so I think it's best if I just stop doing this. ठीक है, छोड़ो. First was, sorry about that. First was selecting a topic. Second step, review of literature. How many articles? 5 articles. Excellent. Third step, questionnaire. कैसा questionnaire बनाना है? Qualitative questionnaire, open-ended questions. How many questions? 5 qualitative questions. Excellent, Morvi. So what will be the next step now? Interview. Yes. So you find 5 people. You have 5 questions. You speak to 5 people, 5 to 6 people at least. Okay. Maximum rakho 8 people. Don't go beyond that. No victims to interview. Okay, Morvi, can you please DM me personally? What is your topic? So I can just see. Please try and select the topics that I sent, okay? Madhav, any age group? Age group, I would suggest doing it with, matlab, working on a group which is pertaining to your sample. ठीक है, तो if you're working on a group pertaining to like mental health in teenage boys, so you'll necessarily, obviously need to speak to teenage boys. Correct? Okay. Uh, Morvi, you don't have to submit videos. Oh my God, Morvi, that scared me a lot. Please be careful. Oh my God. God, I got so tensed up. Please do not record your videos of your interviewees. Don't share their, information, their identifying information. Keep them anonymous. Parisha, what I'm saying is in the previous session, we discussed about 5 qualitative questions, open-ended questions. You need to frame 5 qualitative questions. I have sent a couple of documents to Shubham about this. I don't know if he sent it. Has he sent it to you all already? A link with a couple of examples of qualitative answers. ठीक है. I'll send it to Ashwani and then she'll send it to you all, or I'll just send a reminder to Shubham. ठीक है. You frame 5 questions. After you frame 5 questions, you interview 5 people. You interview 5 people. You can record their interviews. But आप record करने के बाद, notes बनाने के बाद, मतलब recording को delete करो, please. Okay, I can't express this more. Please, if you're recording interviews, Delete the interviews after you've done your notes. Do we have to write the answers of those people on the document? Yes, Ahana, right? So you will record those interviews. You'll talk to 5 people, 5 to 8 people. Okay, 5 to 8 people. You talk to them, you get their responses, you write them in the document. After that, please, please, please delete the interviews. Guys, please remember there is confidentiality. There are concerns pertaining to our respect for the autonomy of the person we are interviewing. Please follow ethics. ठीक है? I would actually recommend कि आप वॉइस रिकॉर्डिंग भी मत करो, आप नोट्स ही लिखो. Or if you're asking the person, if you're sending them a couple of questions, if they want to respond in a chat or if they want to respond in voice notes, they can do that as well. बट वो जो भी रिस्पॉन्सेज आपको देते हैं आप उसका नोट्स बना के डिलीट कर दो प्लीज. डोंट कीप देम ऑन योर सेल्फ. इज दिस क्लियर? सिंपल इंस्ट्रक्शन है ना. आप उनसे बात करो, आप उनको क्वेश्चंस पूछो, आस्क देम क्वेश्चंस, दे विल आंसर योर क्वेश्चंस. You write down the notes. After you're done with the project, you delete these notes. You delete the answers of these people. Okay? It is fair to ask you that, right? It's fair to respect the privacy of the people, right? माधव पहले फोर्थ स्टेप तो कर लो. We'll go at it step by step. There is a reason I'm asking you all to do it step by step, right? Because I'm here for the next 2 weeks as well. So we can do it आराम आराम से. और तो जल्दी जल्दी करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Take the next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, okay, to collect those answers. You collect the answers, collect the notes, then we'll go to the next step. Okay. If you notice, if you have any friends from the internship who are experiencing problems, experiencing concerns, experiencing doubts, please help them out with helping them understand the flow. You select a topic, you do a review of literature of 5 articles, you frame questions based on those articles or based on the topic, you interview people. That's it. Fourth step पे है हम अभी. This is our fourth class, right? No, sorry, this is our third class, right? Which class is this? Fourth class, right? So you pick a topic, you do ROL, frame 5 questions, interview 5 to 8 people. Simple, sweet, straightforward. ठीक है? After you've interviewed them, you write down your notes, you type down your notes, you delete the responses of the people. If they have sent you voice recordings, voice notes, if you've recorded their videos, their audios, you delete that media. ठीक है? Okay. How are we feeling, guys? Today we talked a lot about mental health. So will we have any group projects? No more. Group projects become very difficult to manage. And I know that, people का sync मुश्किल हो जाता है, timings, etc. So we'll do individual itself. I'm not saying कि we have to delete the answers. I'm telling you कि अगर आप वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग ले रहे हो, आप नोट्स बना के वो ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग डिलीट कर दो ना. Why would I ask you to interview people if I don't want to read their answers? है ना? You submit the notes afterwards. You take their interviews, you record their answers, you do video recording, audio recording, any of these is okay. I would suggest audio recording because it's more autonomous, it's more confidential, more ethical. Audio recording करो, आप notes लिख दो. After you're done writing your notes, फिर आप delete कर दो audio recording को. And keep those notes with you. I'll tell you the next step. Next step is just a report writing. तो उसका details मैं आपको बता दूंगी next class में. Step by step जाते हैं ना. Okay. Headache है थोड़ा सा. Okay. Right. How was everyone feeling? How was your experience in today's class? Because today we talked a lot about mental health. So I just want to do a quick check-in key. If you're experiencing any sort of distress or experiencing a lot of like tiredness, etc., it makes sense. Okay? It is understandable to feel exhausted. For obvious reason that when we talk about these things, some things relate to us a lot more. Some things are difficult to talk about. Right? So what I would suggest is after this class is over, please take a break. Listen to some good music, spend some time with your family, Spend some time with your friends. Do a hobby. Engage in something that gives you some sort of joy and relief. ठीक है? Take some de-stressing time. Okay? ठीक. All right. I will see you all in the next session. And next session mein we are going to be talking, if I'm not mistaken, about AI and mental health. Now, we actually have a couple of sessions after that as well. So, I think, hmm. So, I would like to leave the floor open. I'd like you to think a little bit if you want something for me to cover, जो मैंने अभी तक कवर किया नहीं है, जो आप चाहते हो कि मैं कवर करूं, मुझे नेक्स्ट क्लास में बता दो. ओके? If it's too intense, too detailed, I will not be covering it. If it is something which is a little superficial and something which we can address peacefully and stably in this environment, we'll address that. Okay? Think about it. If you feel like there is something else I would like ma'am to talk about, I'll do that as well. But next class, I think, is the fifth class, which is, if I'm not mistaken, should be on AI and mental health. मैं check कर लूँगी. Meanwhile, you also think about things that you would like me to cover, जो syllabus में initially नहीं थे. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night. Take some rest. I will see you all next time. Bye bye. Good night. Bye bye. Ashwini, I'll end the meeting.
Yes, Sarah, we can.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Take care.